Hello everyone, my name is Nathan, and today it's time for another episode of Oxygen Not Included here in our one duplicant challenge. In the previous episode we finalized the petroleum boiler, which is now finally running, and it seems to be doing a pretty darn good job. We don't have to replenish the magma as frequently as I anticipated, since now that it is running and we have the correct temperatures going on, almost 400 degrees here, this is now running very smoothly. There's a problem you pointed out we might want to have a look at, and that is the temperature right here, because if the contraption comes to a halt over time, these oil packets of course might start to heat up. If we check the temperature here, it is definitely hot enough. Just imagine this comes to a halt. That might be a horrible scenario. So what we should do instead is maybe add a shutoff here, though this is gonna require power. I mean, sure, we probably could still do it. We could just grab the wire from here or there. The thing is, I want to add the shutoff as close as possible to the vent and not down below. Here it would be easier to add, but then we have all these oil packets that would then still continue. Oh no, never mind. The shutoff comes with an overheat temperature. Even if we went with plus 200 degrees here, it's not enough. So I'm guessing we still have to add it here. Well, at least that is going to make the power routing and logistics a little bit easier. Now let's see, we need to hook it up to this wire instead, but I believe if I'm already doing this, I'm gonna go down here. We then hop over so all of this can go. I'm then gonna add a NOT gate right here. That should actually be fine. Yeah, we'll just have to go in here to do some cleanup work. Oh nice, looks like I used the same amount of materials here, which means I don't even have to clean things up. Nice, there is my automation. Now we just have to make sure there's actually a clean cut here. And then is it a green signal? Yes, indeed. So now we're not dependent on the liquid vent anymore, but this shutoff, which means there's always going to be a little bit of a delay when we shut down the machine or when we reach any of the capacities. But I guess that is fine. Before we actually continue any further, I would like to make sure that the infinite storage here goes back into the normal storage as soon as it can. And in order to accomplish this, we could go from our oil storage, the infinite one, and directly into the pipe that is cooling down the oil. I mean, technically this oil has already been cooled down to the temperature that I want, which is at the moment 40 degrees. You know, the best course of action might be to just go up and then use a bridge here. I think I might do that. So if we go directly up into this corner, then all we have to do is set up a bunch of bridges for the other lines. So they would go like so. We then extract this single packet of polluted water and we could then go straight up, connect with that. No, actually we don't want to connect. We also want to use a bridge so we don't have the priority. That means this bridge here isn't even necessary. We can have this connected and then this would be a bridge. So as long as we have new oil incoming, the infinite storage isn't gonna progress. Now, considering I still have debris in here, I'm just gonna go ahead and actually extract that. Let's bring out the cabling for a brief moment so I can set up a liquid lock. And then, of course, we also want to make our way inside of here. Actually, could we just do the liquid lock from the bottom? Yeah, that might actually be possible, so I don't even need that. Something else I would like to improve is the filter system here. I would like this to be a little bit further up. Say we start filtering right here. We're gonna need 3 filters and I will only have to run 1 pipe. Yeah, look at that. That will be easy. Just plop a little bit of crude oil on here. Okay, just a little drop. Yeah, that should be enough. Let me deconstruct that. And now we go ahead, fill up these 3 tiles. Later we can remove these 2 and then we have our liquid lock and can easily enter. Though I built it in a stupid spot because there's the liquid vent. Yeah, I'm gonna do the same principle, but 2 blocks over, okay? There it is, nice and cozy. That should work. Vacuum, nice, and we can open this up, enter the contraption. That means now we can also continue this part. I still have to separate these pipes, and it should be coming from the bottom here. I should also be able to just go down here in order to build these pipes and make use of that vacuum even more. Oh no, I accidentally already opened it up. I should have built the pipes first, because now we have all that hot steam. No, why did I do that? Polluted oxygen, are you serious? Okay, so we just fill this up again. I'm gonna be right back. You now know what I want to do. I'm gonna fix these pipes, and all we really have to do for that is fill these tiles up again. Gonna use the priority trick to build them one after another. You know what? I'm just gonna brute force my way in there, pick up these materials, and then close it off right away again. Yeah, look at that. Now we can go ahead and... No! I hate that. It happens every freaking time. What are you doing? Don't... Take these materials! We had it all. Okay, now close. Okay, that wasn't too bad. And we didn't even lose that much steam. Nice. So now I can easily make my way down here to finish the piping job. Wonderful. Oh no, I just noticed it still goes back into the aqua tuner. Is that a good idea? No, that is a really bad idea because that is the bypass and now the liquid thinks it needs to go into this direction. So we'll have to add another bridge like so to avoid this. And that really sucks because I have to get back in there. Dude, are you serious? Oh my gosh, when was the last save? Why did I not save? Oh my gosh, this is so horrible. The last save was like 2 or 3 cycles ago. Okay, not too bad, but jeez, why? Wait. This is so horrible. My duplicant is just gone. Yeah, I don't think I can actually do anything about that. I'll be right back. Okay, good. I ended up basically redoing the entire episode. Those 2 cycles ago were when we started today. And I know for you it's just 5 or 6 minutes, but that's usually not what it is for me. Either way, let's continue with the filter system. I should be able... Well, okay, that apparently didn't happen either. We are refilling our magma pit and looking at the temperature here, look at that, it only goes down really slowly. So over time this would only require a refill every 10 cycles or so, and that actually is a good sign that we should maybe utilize the pumps, because we only have to provide very little magma. Okay, now let's do the same system as we do at the bottom. First I'm gonna filter out the normal water. This would then continue all the way over. Let me actually make a cut right there. Yes, water needs to go into this first pipe here. Then the next one right here would be the polluted water. And finally, on the very top here, we're gonna do the crude oil. Yeah, this needs to go into that line, right? Okay, and doing that is gonna save us a whole bunch of pipes that we don't have to build. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove all of that, and we're gonna connect it to this pipe instead. This is now gonna allow me to also utilize other pumps, and the liquids are just gonna alternate. We can also have an additional pump here for the oil. Bring that over. There it is now running. I guess in due time we'll have that cleaned up. That is gonna bring me to the next topic, which is cleaning up the gases. I'm already heavily working on the polluted oxygen, and I'm not gonna rest until everything is converted to normal oxygen. This, however, will be an ongoing process, and I think it is wise to finally fix the natural gas contraption here. And at the same time, we're gonna build a couple of infinite storages. Now that we already committed to some infinite storages, I think we're also gonna do that for certain gases. For instance, carbon dioxide we have plenty of, or we could just go ahead and get rid of it. But essentially, we might be able to set up an infinite storage here at the bottom for the natural gas, and then another infinite storage for the carbon dioxide. Then I'm not certain about the chlorine. Where would we even want to save that? Well, either way, we want to make our way in here, and I noticed that we actually do need a liquid pump. That was the main issue in this contraption. I'm then gonna put my Atmos sensor up again. And to make that infinite storage, I think what we can do is just utilize this. Do we need something that's higher? I don't think so. We could, for instance, set up 2 airflow tiles, then have our liquid vent. No, actually it needs to be a gas vent. Since we're making a infinite lock, we probably don't even need a high gas pressure vent. And so once we close this off, we have a little bit of liquid at the bottom and the gases can enter. It's not going to be overpressured, but they're going to go elsewhere. Yeah, honestly, we might even want to encase this completely. And we're also going to use some steel here in order to build 2 pumps that are going to pump the natural gas back into the generators. I think I'm going to have my pumps over here instead. We then bring them together and they would be going into both of my generators. We might want to give the generators priority right here, but then we also have another pipe that's extracting the natural gas outside of the contraption. Yeah, I think that might just work out. Let's go ahead and make sure we have access to actually build all of this. You know, it might be easier to just continue the wires here. Also, I would like to upgrade these wires slowly but surely to conductive wires. Yeah, since this is probably the last time we're gonna enter this contraption, we might want to go ahead and do that. Make the exchange. Good, looks like we're almost done. I just expanded the power routing here a little bit. I also could have connected these 2 rooms, but This way I think it's going to be easier to expand upon it if we want to add more infinite storages. Now I think I'm gonna have to clean this up at least once, so I'm just gonna get rid of everything on the floor. I don't want the polluted oxygen to off-gas anymore. And then instead we're gonna add a little bit of oil to make the liquid lock. The new routing for the natural gas would be to probably just go straight down. We then have this pipe coming from the generators giving us carbon dioxide that we could also utilize. I'm just gonna hop over here. We can then route our pipe down and maybe do another bridge here, and we can easily connect the natural gas pipe to the vent. And because I want to be able to do this a little bit more efficiently, I'm gonna set up a secondary pump. You know, thinking about this on the way down, we might want to check with the filter so we really only get the natural gas in this. Honestly, this might not even be the worst idea. I'm gonna move the gas pump here one block over so we have the space for a sensor and the filter. Okay, now it looks fairly complicated, but basically out of the filter comes the natural gas, hops over here, and it will continue into the chute. We don't need this. If we pick up anything else such as carbon dioxide, polluted oxygen, or steam, it will continue right here through the green slot. It will then hop over this pipe and continue. So we need yet another bridge, and this will continue into the next contraption where we, for instance, could get rid of the carbon dioxide. That also means we don't need all of this. Yeah, this is my previous carbon dioxide pipe. And instead what we could do is just hook up with the bypass here that continues. Also, in anticipation of pumping out this room, I'm already gonna hook up the pipe to an outside pressure gas vent. But that now looks fairly decent, I'm hopeful. All we are really missing here is a hydro sensor. I should set that up as well. Hydro sensor and then a pump here at the bottom. We don't need a powerful pipe, a mini liquid pump would be enough, but that overheat temperature is 75 degrees. So instead of hooking up a hydro sensor, we're just going to utilize the space to set up an entire pump. Or even better, we could move the filter one block up. I think that is going to be the solution. Be right back. Now I have the space for a hydro sensor plus a full-sized pump. Yeah, I kind of like that solution. Alrighty, I finally managed to finish this. We have the gas filter now on the top. If we have a look at this, everything should be filtered out. As a matter of fact, for now, I'm just gonna dump it. But I had to play around with the infinite storage for a little while. This was more complicated than I first anticipated because we were not only able to use one tile. This would just evaporate the oil slowly, so at some point it would disappear entirely. So what I'm doing now is I have two tiles filled up with just a tiny amount of oil. It needs to be less than the overpressure of the gas vent, which is also why I set up a high pressure gas vent. And this way the oil, as you can see, it's just being constantly pushed over, but because we have the space for it, it's going back again. And this is going to allow us to keep that established, and we can just keep on filling this up. Now, from the looks of it, I made a tiny mistake here. Maybe we can rectify that by going back in for a brief moment. Also, I set this pump here to above 50 kilograms. If we accumulate 50 kilograms of water, that usually means the room isn't hot enough. Mostly because the natural gas geyser isn't running. So this is going to be the moment where we pump things out. Otherwise, it's going to evaporate, and of course it's going to produce a little bit of polluted dirt that we are then picking up with these two auto sweepers. One is located right here, covering half of the room, and the other one is covering the rest of the room. Then of course the polluted dirt will be going out, and we can basically dump it wherever we like. Hey, well, the room is closed off again. We're gonna set this to all. Let's see, I did not mess up with the gases. We have all natural gas in here, already 11 kilograms. And right now I'm just pumping out all of the natural gas reservoirs into their new storage. And of course, in due time, when this guy becomes active again in about 40 cycles, we will be exchanging all the polluted oxygen with natural gas and then eventually a little bit of steam. Now, all of that will be pumped out, and at some point we want to get rid of the steam. I mean, theoretically, we could still run into problems depending on what the steam actually does. I mean, it will probably just go ahead and damage my pipes here. If we are unlucky, it's going to damage the pipes even earlier. That reminds me, I already had an accident by actually allowing polluted water to go down the water route, and now we have a polluted water pocket right here that is 670 kilograms, and it seems as though it just deleted the oil that I had in there. Now, the problem about this, I figured, was that it can evaporate, but apparently it cannot evaporate towards the sides. It cannot emit the polluted oxygen. It can only do that towards the top. So the solution still works, but I'd rather had an oil spot there. Oh well, now I'm gonna be pumping out this room or the natural gas reservoirs. And then as soon as that is done, we can use the natural gas for power generation as well as cooking if we want to. Now there's actually another problem that occurred right here, and that is a bug. Sometimes when the mechanized airlock opens, it doesn't count as a vacuum, and that is definitely a bug, so it will still transfer the heat. And that actually happened now for the second time. The first time around I didn't know what was going on, but now I read the comments and somebody had the same exact issue. Now I never actually had this happen, and I believe one way we might be able to solve that is by insulating these layers right here. Don't ask me why, it's just kind of a hunch. Maybe we put everything a little further down, so we have 2 metal tiles before the airlock, and then we would be doing something like that, just a funnel down. Yeah, let's go ahead and try that to wrap up the episode. I'm just gonna approach from the side, and then we can shortly close and open the door in case some gases are entering. Now look at this, this is actually so interesting because it usually doesn't really matter. If you have a tiny amount of carbon dioxide in here, it just cannot transfer the heat. Like, it heats up the carbon dioxide, but it barely heats up the tile here. Well, it does slowly, so never mind, just forget about it. I now need to highly prioritize everything, and we're just gonna quickly build it and then close the door again. Come on, come on, come on. We are under time pressure here. There is my second tile, and now I'm just doing this. Actually, I first need to do the bottom one here. And now I want to pick up the abyssalite that's still in the way. Oh, this magma is just gonna be deleted. Yeah, look at that. Wonderful. We actually managed to do it. Now I quickly need to close the door to delete the gases and open it up again. And we should have a vacuum. And now maybe that this is a little bit more secure. Hopefully it's not gonna act up on us again. Now just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna set up another thermo sensor and maybe a notification system. An automated notifier that is gonna tell me when something goes wrong. We're just gonna check for an unusual temperature, maybe 300 degrees or so. Oh, I built it out of lead and it immediately melted. That's hilarious. Automated notifier. Yeah, let's build it out of iron at least. Thermosensor I'm gonna set to above 300 degrees because that's the point where something really went wrong. Magma power error is the notification. Check mechanized airlock. We're gonna get a boing boing notification and we're gonna pause and zoom. Since we're still above the 300 degrees mark here, we already have the error, but this should disappear as soon as we took care of it. Alright guys, I would say with that out of the way, we're gonna wrap it up. We can also see the petroleum generator came to a screeching halt, and that is because we have enough petroleum. Now we just have to make use of it. But with that out of the way, thank you so much for watching guys. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Have a great time and see you in the next one. Bye bye.